Kevin J. Johnston, the #1 name in the land of the North, he's risen to fame. 40 years deep in the law he's read. Now the CRA shakes in fear and dread. Stop paying tax forever, my friend. With Kevin J. Johnston, the fight doesn't end. Corporate debt, he'll make it all good. He's the man the CRA misunderstood. They vanish like mist when Kevin shows up with his legal fist. No more matching, no more lies, just clean-cut books and clear blue skies. Stop paying tax forever, my friend. With Kevin J. Johnston, the rules start to bend. The CRA can scream and shout, but Kevin knows how to throw them out. They claim they've got the final say, but Kevin proves there's a better way. He fights for truth, he fights for you, and teaches what the courts won't do. Forever today. Let Kevin J. Johnston show you the way. The expert, the rebel, the man with a plan. He's saving this nation, one client per hand. He's got 40 years of tax law knowing and corporate skills that keep cash flowing. At GST, payroll, all in line. He'll save your neck and every dime. He studied law, both civil crime, and makes tax code sound so sublime. With stand-up jokes and punchlines tight, he makes your seminar a night of light. Kevin J. CRA just runs away. He's the tax manslayer with a legal plan, the best-looking genius in the land. Kevin J. Taking all your tax away. If the government's scared, then it's safe to say he's the hero of the North, Kevin J. 2 million women cast their vote, said Kevin's hot, that's all she wrote. The suits at CRA can't compete, he's beaten them clean without deceit. 100 mil he's saved so far, he's raising truth like a legal star. And if you think you owe the state, he'll show you how to terminate. Kevin J. CRA just runs away. He's the tax manslayer with a legal plan, the best-looking genius in the land. Kevin J. Taking all your tax away. If the government's scared, then it's safe to say he's
Kevin J. Johnston here. Welcome to the Tax and Money Show that runs every single Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on freedomreport.ca. We're going to be talking about Canada's newest tax criminal tonight. That is correct. The new Minister of Finance, François-Philippe Champagne. François-Philippe Champagne. This guy here has just been assigned to the role. And he has already come out and proven to everybody what a fool he is. And he has already directly and indirectly, but more directly, told us that he can't wait to destroy what little is left of Canada. Oh, man. Everybody, I've been having a lot of conversations with a lot of Canadians who have just had enough of Canada's nonsense. And they want to move here to Panama, which I do highly recommend. I am living my absolute best life here in this country, but I'm still helping Canadians get out by doing their taxes, by getting their corporate taxes done, buying up all their corporate debt, taking over their payroll, and instructing them on how to win in the courts. And I've had some fun in the courts over the last couple of weeks. I kind of lost my cool on a lawyer. And as soon as my lawyer tells me that it's legal for me to put out the conversation I had with the loser, I will release that to the public. I have had enough of Canadian lawyers. I've had enough of the Canadian institution. I am so fed up with how seriously Canadians take themselves when they have any particular type of government position. I got news for all of you who work for the Canadian government. Nobody around the world takes you seriously. Nobody. There is nobody in Mexico that takes Canada seriously. There is nobody around the world that looks at Canadian politicians and the courts and the judges and the crown attorneys and the lawyers and says, hey, you know, that country's really got their shit together. That just doesn't happen, people. So you've got this court process in Canada where it doesn't benefit the people in any particular way. And if you want to hire a lawyer now, even like, let's say you get a criminal charge in Canada, it's like $25,000 to $50,000 to have a lawyer defend you. And if you've upset the left-wing nuts in the country, you're going to prison regardless. What's the point? The only winning move in Canada is simply not to be there. Remember that line from War Games? The only winning move is not to play. Well, that's true. It's absolutely true. Save your money. Stop giving it to the Canadian government. Every branch of the Canadian government wants your money. Let's talk about them briefly here before we get into this new Minister of Finance that we have in Canada. We'll start from the federal government. What do they want? Well, they sick the collection agency, not the police force, the collection agency known as the Canada Revenue Agency, to tell you that there's actually tax law that says you actually have to pay actual taxes to the actual CRA, and there's no such law. I've been covering that full time for 2 years now on this show, and before that on my previous show. No, there's nothing there, but you all still pay, and you still do your tax returns, which means you screw yourself even more. All right, that's the federal government. Then if you run a business, the federal government wants you to collect payroll, goods and services tax, and federal income tax. They want to have you collect that and give it to them too. And then if you decide you want to fly on a plane, there's a federal flight tax, and there's the federal airport tax, and there's all the hidden fees that they stick in there. It's all tax. It's all tax. Yeah. You think that these things are free. They're not. I mean, even when you buy your passport, that's a tax. What do you got to pay for a passport for? And why is it so expensive? Why is this crappy little book? Here's mine. And I'm embarrassed to actually have. That's mine. All right. This crappy little book. Why is this $168? At least it was when I got mine. I think it's more now. Why can't a citizen who's already paying 73% tax between all the taxes they pay have to pay for this too? Well, my advice would be to get this and get the hell out. That's my advice. Okay, that's the federal government. But then you've got the provincial governments. What do they want? Well, they get part of your income tax. There is a provincial portion of your income tax. And then, with the exception of Alberta, they put a sales tax on everything that you buy. Imagine that. Some provinces are 8, some provinces are 9. Yeah, it's crazy. So you have to pay a sales tax on everything. And then some of them even have a liquor tax. A lot of them have a hotel and entertainment tax now. Geez, man. Oh, yeah. If you're driving on provincially owned highways, they've got those losers out there called the Ontario Provincial Police who've got cameras everywhere, zapping your plates and stealing more money from you. That's a tax. It's all tax. Now we go to the municipalities, the cities, and they've got losers. They call themselves bylaw officers, and they walk around and they flash these stupid badges. Look at me, I got authority, right? So when these losers walk around, they're issuing fines. All right, you have a beer in your hand and you're standing just slightly outside of the parking lot of a bar. You're on the sidewalk with a beer, ticket. Property tax, you got that. You've got noise tax. Oh man, the list goes on. Oh, and on top of all of that, there's parking tax. You know, after 11 p.m., for some reason, the universe changes at 11 p.m. in most Canadian cities. There's something wrong with the universe that states that you cannot park a car on the street. Now, the car has been there from 6 a.m. to 10:59 p.m., but somehow at 11 p.m., it can't be there. Like, I think maybe it changes the gravitational pull of the planet if you park, so you get a fine for that too. Then you've got the red light cameras all over the place. I mean, some provinces are getting rid of them because they are completely unconstitutional, but unless you actually file constitutional challenges in the courts, you're going to have to pay all these friggin' taxes. But there's more. There's more. All of these schools, so-called learning centers all across the country, which are all left-wing indoctrination centers, you have to pay for these schools to exist, part of your property tax. So with all the taxes that we are paying, can any of you in the rooms right now tell me what value you think that you've received for any of it? Because I get these stupid arguments from people all the time. Kevin, you've been not paying tax in Canada for 25 years. It's not fair. We need roads. We need hospitals. We need the grass cut, I guess. Well, sure. We do need those things. It's called infrastructure, but I'm not paying for it because I don't see the value in it. If I have to pay tax to have a road built, and then I am told that in the middle of friggin' nowhere, when I drive my car that I paid for and fueled up and paid like 65% tax filling up that car, that I'm not allowed to drive that car past a certain speed, even if it's 2:00 in the morning and there's not a single human being around for 200 kilometers, except of course the cop who's stealing money from me by pulling me over and wasting my time. So I don't see any value in that. Sorry, guys. I'm not going to be joining you as a taxpayer. Canadian medicine, number 63 in the world right now. I'm not paying for number 63. So you can scratch that argument. I've seen the end result of the education system in Canada. Remember, I was once in it. I think that the Canadian education system has been a joke for the last 40 to 50 years. It's a disgusting indoctrination center now. I'm not paying for that. I don't see any value in anything the Canadian government's doing with our money. Period. So I took myself out of the taxation system in the year 2000. Haven't paid a penny since. In fact, they're paying me. And there's all kinds of great tricks of the trade. And so long as they're legal, I will do them. This is what I do for people as I get their tax dollars back. But you need to understand what's coming, everybody. What's coming over the next little while. And that is frightening at best. Let me just get my speaker turned on here. I want you all to hear this guy. Okay, so we got the Bluetooth speaker on here. We're going to put this up for everyone to hear it. I'm going to play a video now of the CTV. CTV is a god-awful, privately owned but government subsidized television network in Canada. They used to be okay. Now they're just a bunch of left-wing tards. They are hyper-communist losers. I've met a lot of these people. Oh my God. I've been interviewed by CTV a few times. I asked one interviewer, it's like, is this your first day? He didn't know what the hell to ask me. It was brutal. So this particular time, they actually asked not difficult questions, but the kind of questions that a reporter should kind of ask. Let's play it. Okay, this is the new Minister of Finance in Canada, François-Philippe Champagne. Yeah, this is French Canadian, idiote, and he is somehow the Minister of the Finance, and he make you broke, eh? Let's hear what he's got to say.
I spoke to this country's newly minted finance.
By the way, for those who can't see, I'm looking at a highly unattractive thing on the screen right now. Could be a guy dressed up as a chick. You don't know. With CTV, you never know. But she's now going to brag about the fact that she has interviewed this new minister. Here we go.
Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne following his swearing in. Have a listen to our conversation. Hi, Minister. It's a pleasure to see you again, and congratulations on your new portfolio.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
A new era of fiscal responsibility in the country.
I'm glad that you're bringing that up because I have a number of questions about what exactly that means. But I want to start off on the premise of your government now backing away from the carbon tax. You stood alongside former Prime Minister Trudeau for years in cabinet as a parliamentary secretary, defending the premise behind the carbon tax. Why should Canadians believe you now that you're really, really not going to use it?
Well, the Prime Minister signed an order today. You've seen that. But I would say...
First off, for those who can't see, what's wrong with this guy's face? There's something wrong with his eyes. They're looking in two different directions. Now, that's not a mockery of people who are wall-eyed. What that is a statement that this individual here literally has something wrong with him. I don't know what it is because I'm not a doctor, but right off the hop, I don't trust this guy with the way that he looks at people or reacts to people. Here we go.
The worst thing we could do is not to change our approach when the world is changing. The world has changed massively in the last 6 weeks. I mean,
what's he talking about? The world's changed massively in the last 6 weeks. What does that have to do with him being appointed to the finance minister? His job is to conduct, I guess we'll call it the appropriate policy writing and fiscal responsibility to make sure the country runs fine. He's talking about the world. Let's keep going.
Saying our closest ally and partner turned its back on us.
Okay. Whoa. So this is common speech for everybody. Our trading partner in the United States, they turned our back on us. No. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. What happened is Mark Carney, the guy who was running after Trudeau was fired from his job to become the prime minister, decided to create, remember that? The elbows up campaign? No one even knew what that meant, really. The only reference that I could think of was Gordie Howe, the hockey player. He was an elbower, tall guy, over 6 feet, elbowing people. That's all I could think of. Right? What would it mean to say elbows up when Canada has a military of like 40,000 people, half of whom wear dresses? We have 3 diesel-powered frigates from like before the Korean War, for God's sakes. Yeah, our weapons don't even work. My God, what is he talking about? Let's get in a battle with the United States of America, our #1 trading partner. Let's me, while I'm campaigning to be prime minister of the country, insult the president of the USA by telling Canadians that I'm not going to do anything Trump said. Of course he's going to do everything Trump says, but that was a campaign, and somehow that worked. What does that say about Canadians?
Politics is changing. So in light of the change in the world, I think Canadians expect us to be pragmatic. You look at...
Pragmatic. Practicing what you preach, essentially. The Liberal Party preaches one thing and does the exact opposite all the time. Now, a lot of human beings in general do this, but the last thing that the Canadian government is pragmatic.
What you were doing, we're still very committed to do a number of things for climate change. I still believe this is really...
Climate change. Here we go again. Climate change. Didn't I already prove this for the last 8 years? Every 3 or 4 months in the last 8 years, I have shown all of you the stats on all of it. What did I tell you last time? And it's still true today, is that right now Canada is carbon negative. Our boreal forest right now is starving because there is not enough carbon dioxide in the atmosphere to feed the trees. That is a problem. If our boreal forest begins to starve, guess what happens? Oxygen levels drop.
Really the issue of our generation, of our lifetime. But at the same time, there's different ways to do things. I think the Prime Minister spoke during the campaign, and today he signed an order. But I would say it's just a reflection of
Okay, so the Prime Minister spoke during the campaign, and then he made an order. Campaigned on what and made an order for what? Right? This is just word salad, verbal diarrhea. That's all this is. Keep going.
How we have to adapt to a fast changing world. People at home understand how things have changed in 6 weeks. It's almost unprecedented.
Nobody at home understands how things have changed in 6 weeks. Nobody understands. Do you know why Canadians don't understand what's going on in the world? Because you have CTV and the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation telling you what's going on, and people still watch that crap.
So we're pragmatic. We're changing our approach. We still focus on reducing carbon.
Why? I just told you we need more carbon. So for all of you out there who have a fireplace, keep burning wood. If you've got a backyard barbecue pit, keep burning wood. If you have tires you wish to dispose of, please light them on fire, burn them. We need more carbon in the atmosphere.
But at the same time, we're taking a different approach.
I guess with all due respect,
At the same time, we're taking a different approach.
though, I would ask, like, didn't Canadians want you to be pragmatic 6 months ago or a year ago? Is this just a naked political decision to remove this issue as a point of cleavage between the Conservatives and yourself?
I would say the world.
Did she say a point of cleavage? She said point of cleavage. What the hell? Oh.
Changed. Let's not forget. I mean,
about a carbon tax?
Well, I'd say the world in general. I mean, 6 weeks in this world has seen unprecedented position taken by one of the superpowers, which happens to be our closest ally and neighbor.
Okay, so the unprecedented position that our closest neighbor and ally has taken is that they want to put an end to mass immigration. They want their economy back, and they have decided to spank every country out there that wants to compete with the USA instead of working with the USA. And the Canadian government chose to be the opponent of the USA. And Mark Carney is getting spanked left, right, and center. So when you decide to go to war with your bread and butter is going to leave and take the bread and the butter with them.
Which is really reshaping the world order like we have not seen in our lifetime. So in line of these changing environment, you really have to see, how do you maintain competitiveness in Canada? How do you
competitiveness in Canada? with who? With who? What manufacturers are still left in this country? If you were to open up a factory in Canada, who are you competing against? Everyone's already left. My God.
Respond to the concern about affordability that Canadians have put.
But shouldn't you have been doing that before?
Well, I would say the last 6 weeks is really, I know you would keep asking me that, but I would just say, look around the world. 6 weeks. 6 weeks has changed the world.
Change the world. Okay, here we go. Right, 6 weeks has changed the world. 6 weeks changed the world. 6 weeks. 6 weeks has changed the world. The world's changed in 6 weeks. Canadians don't know about 6 weeks. Change the world. The world's changed in 6 weeks. That's all he said. That's it. This is what we have in charge of our finances, in charge of our fiscal responsibility. This individual right here, who's talking about the world, not Canada. 6 weeks. Man.
Significantly. And I would say in that context, I think folks at home would understand that the worst we could do is not to acknowledge that the world is changing and just say.
The worst that we could do is not acknowledge the world is changing? What? Again, he's not answering the question.
Well, because we decided one day to do this, we're not going to change. No, I think to be clever is to look and say, well, the world is changing. We have to adapt. Keeping with our value about, protecting climate and making sure that we have policies to reduce
protecting climate and making sure we protect our policies to have climate change.
Carbon emission, but at the same time, also.
Right. I just told you, please, everybody watching the show in Canada, burn more wood, burn your garbage, burn everything. If someone in your family dies, burn that too. Burn everything. The trees are hungry. Give them carbon.
Understanding that now is the time to act to support Canadians.
Speaking of change and in different framing, you mentioned you started off, you're the finance minister now.
Okay. The interview goes on like this. All right. It's 11 minutes of this. Like 6 weeks, Canadians, yeah, 6 weeks. Canadians, folks at home don't know. Folks at home don't know. 6 weeks. So I want you to understand, the reason I played that for you is I just want you to understand what you're up against. And you're up against a Liberal Party who hires creatures like this, puts them in charge of things that they have no business being in charge of. All right. Now, I decided to talk to GPT like I always do, and I decided to ask it to pull forward some of the headlines. And I'm going to read those headlines to you about this guy, and explain them to you. Here we go. Number one, and for those who can't see on the other platforms here, I jazzed the guy up wearing handcuffs in a prison jumper with his face, the guy that we just heard talking, and there's a prison cell in behind him. And of course, there's my lovely face at the bottom pointing at you. All right. Slide 1, delayed budget. Budget 2025 has been pushed to November the 4th, in fact, which is breaking the spring tradition and leaving Canadians in the dark. If the plan was solid, why stall it? Even Mark Carney, the crime minister, admits that spending growth has been unsustainable, yet his government avoids early scrutiny. All right, so it's true. He has delayed the budget, which typically is announced at the beginning of the year. What's the surprise that is coming to us on November the 4th? Well, I'm sure it's going to be horrible at best. Why delay it? And to have the prime minister also in this guy's absence of doing anything tell us, oh, spending's out of control. And then he goes ahead and says, I recognize Palestine as a state. We're going to give $2 billion more to Ukraine. And now we're going to give money to Haiti and Eritrea so that they can have gender studies classes. Holy crap. All of this while Canadian bridges are falling down, Canadian highways are not expanding, they're falling apart. Our medical system is going to be number 70 in the world soon. Canadians are dying in emergency rooms, but it's a better idea to hold off showing Canadians what's going to happen until the fall, to which I think that we all know what's going to happen. The budget is going to have a massive amount of foreign aid. What does foreign aid mean in politics, everybody? It means, we're going to launder money. We politicians are going to put some money in our pockets, and we're going to do so by giving some to the other countries who are going to give us some kickbacks. But if they don't give us the kickback they promised us, we can't enforce it. There we go. All right, let's move on to slide number 2, shall we? Deficit explosions. That's correct. The deficit of Canada is now tracking near Canadian dollars 70 billion, almost 2/3 higher than last year's projection of 42 billion Canadian. The government talks about austerity, but the numbers show Ottawa is spending more, not less, and letting Canada's debt get out of control. Now, here is something that all of you need to keep in mind. The deficit and the debt are not the same thing. All right? Debt is how much you owe, or how much your creditors state that you owe, or how much your creditors lie about what you owe. That's your debt. The deficit is how much further into debt that you're going to go. That's what that means. So the deficit, they're going to go $70 billion more into debt annually. Now, when you stop and think about those numbers, it's terrifying, because Stephen Harper, when he left office before crazy Trudeau got in, what did he do for us? He left Canada with a $10 billion surplus because he is a fiscal conservative, to which Trudeau blew through that in 6 weeks. That's right. How do you spend $10 billion in 6 weeks? Well, we know what he spent it on. I can't say what he spent it on, especially here on TikTok and Instagram, because you know that they'll shut it down. But if you watch my freedomreport.ca channel, you'll know exactly what it's been spent on, and it's not good. All right, so deficit, debt, not the same thing, everyone. Please don't be fooled. Slide number 3. We have a CRA crackdown. Now, this is not my headline. This is the headline generated by ChatGPT from what it's been finding in Canadian news outlets. All right, and I'm going to explain it. New laws expand Canada Revenue Agency audit and collection powers, longer reassessment windows, harsher penalties, and faster collection tools. Ottawa calls it service, but Canadians see it for what it really is, a tax grab dressed as modernization. Now, I'm the tax guy that tells the truth. There are no new tax laws right now. No new laws. It's all a lie. Remember when Trudeau said, we're going to charge a $25,000 exit tax? That never passed. That's not a law. I get a lot of people calling me up. I want to leave Canada, but I don't want to pay the exit tax. And I have to ask, what tax are you talking about? Where do you get this from? Do you know where everyone gets this from? The Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, CTV, the Toronto Star, the junk, the garbage, the trash. That's not news. That's propaganda. So they were saying that they want auditors to have the power to enter your home. But that's not going to pass. They want the Canada Revenue Agency to be able to bypass the courts and just take your stuff. Let me tell you something about the courts, okay? I have a lot of experience with the courts, everyone. You all know this. Canada is comprised of 10 provinces. They are all independent countries that operate under the banner of the Dominion of Canada. The provinces did not turn over all of their rights to the federal government. They agreed to kind of, sort of, a little bit be governed by a governance body being Parliament, but the notwithstanding clause would allow any province to say no to anything the federal government says. The evidence I bring forward as to the provinces all being separate, there is no such thing as a federal highway system. There's one piece of crap road. It's called the Trans-Canada Highway. It's junk. It sucks. Have you ever driven that thing? I hate it. In fact, you know how stupid the Trans-Canada Highway is? It becomes a road with Tim Hortons and more Tim Hortons and some Tim Hortons on the side. It becomes a street when you get to Calgary with traffic lights. It sucks to drive on that road. I know. I used to live in Calgary. It's brutal. It's not a highway, everyone. It's a joke. The provinces all have their own numbering systems for highways. All of them. Ontario has Highway 401, which starts by Detroit and goes all the way to the Quebec border. As soon as it gets to Quebec, it becomes Highway 2. But Alberta also has a Highway 2 that connects the U.S. border in the south to the Northwest Territories in the north, at which point it becomes some name. I can't even pronounce it. So these are individual countries that do not have to do anything that the federal government says. Now, let's talk about the courts, because this is the point I was trying to make. The court systems in Canada, they're a business. They are corporations that are for profit. In Canada, the courts make money because the provincial government pays them to keep afloat. What happens here is that we all get taught that a judge is a respectable and honorable person. They even call themselves the honorable whatever. Are you kidding me? I've yet to meet one honorable judge in my life. They're just people, right? They're just human beings. Like, they're just mammals. There's nothing special about them at all. What we've done is we've allowed ourselves to be judged by some asshole who sits on a bench higher than us, because that's a psychological tool, sitting up higher than you, wearing a black dress, telling us what we can and cannot do, taking our freedom away from us. That's what this is all about. Now, Highway 20 in Quebec, my mistake. So then we've got this court system in place where these judges still want to be able to rule over as much as they possibly can. And they have excessively weak egos. Holy crap. You want to talk about weak men? Look at Canadian judges. You think for a second that these weak individuals who wear these dresses, who get paid well over $200,000, in some cases $300,000 a year, are going to allow some loser who works for the Canada Revenue Agency to have more authority than them? Now, it's not going to happen. So don't panic when you see these things. You have to understand the realistic portion of this. Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate that. You got to understand the realistic thing here is these judges in the courts, they will get together. They all get together and play cards. They all get together. Yeah, they do. Oh, yeah. They all play poker together. They go to strip joints together. They get high on drugs together. They're a little group. And they will get together and they will plot against individuals. I know. They plotted against me in the province of Ontario. Then they did the same thing to me in Alberta. But they would plot for a way to stop the CRA from having any authority inside of their independent countries, being the provinces. So stop it, everybody. Stop panicking. The reason that these things are being said about supposed new authorities and new laws that the CRA is going to have to screw you over is to make you panic. It's to instill fear. And the problem is it works. God, man, please, I'm begging all of you, read the actual laws. Read the acts. You can all do the exact same thing that I did. All of you can read the Income Tax Act, the Excise Tax Act, and the GST Act. You can read these things. I'm an expert in what I do because I've been studying these things for 40 years. And I keep reading it. I keep making sure that every time I hear about a change, I confirm if it's actually a change. And I have seen 0 changes in the Income Tax Act or the Excise Tax Act or the GST Act this year. 0, which means everything that they're saying on the news is a lie. And I'm the only one out here telling you the truth about their lies. Every accountant and tax lawyer in Canada absolutely fears the CRA. They fear it. Oh my God, I'm not going to lose my license over you. Like lawyers who are supposed to be tough, like that TV show Better Call Saul, you would think that there's at least one Canadian lawyer who's tough like that. No, there isn't. Not a single solitary one. They're all a bunch of whiny bitches. I know. I've met a lot of these guys. All they do is complain. I've had judges. I've been up against judges lawyers, my mistake, in court who complain to the judge. Mr. Johnston said on his podcast that I'm fat, and he's been making disparaging remarks about me and my law firm. And I would like an apology. You know, maybe he could speak to the fact as to why he talks this way about me and my dude. For real, I've never met a tough lawyer ever. The only reason that Bay Street lawyers do well in court is because they're friends with the judges. It's a club. It's a club. And they have all conspired to give themselves extreme authority and extreme power within their provinces. The CRA is not going to be able to override that. So stop the fear. Let's move on to the next slide. I see I had a couple of trolls in here tonight. Looks like they got bored. I ignored them and they left. Isn't that funny? Wow. Next, there are billions abroad. While deficits balloon at home, billions flow overseas. Hundreds of millions for the United Nations and Haiti, plus $2 billion in Ukraine aid. That's actually a lot more than that. Canadians are left asking, why is Ottawa funding the world while taxpayers here are drowning in debt? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because none of you are doing anything about it. None of you. Canadians just accept it. The Canadian government has hockey sticks. All right. What they do is they put screws through the stick. So there's screws sticking out. Then they tap some rusty nails into the stick blade. Then they put some glue on it and dip it in broken glass. Then they take that hockey stick and they shove it up your ass and they turn it. All right. And it hurts. It hurts a lot. And instead of maybe leaping forward or shooting the guy before he puts it in there, Canadians pull their pants down, spread them, accept it in there. And when it's in there being turned, what do Canadians do? I can't believe that this is happening to me. Yeah, that's what you do. It's true. Hey, how many Canadians out there make statements like it's time to revolt? How many Canadians have actually said that and then do something about it? Not many. Not many at all. And then we had the truckers' convoy, which was a good idea, but because Canadians are used to a cushy life, a lot of people showed up to that protest and turned it into a friggin' party. Oh, yeah, there was dancing in the streets. That's not good. Look at how the Europeans protest. They shut their cities down. When the Panamanians were protesting, the Canadian government and this Canadian mining company coming in here to strip mine the country, Panamanians shut the country down. The government capitulated to the people. Costa Rica, when I was there, everyone in San Jose shut the whole city down. They didn't like the new tax that was coming in. The government capitulated to the people. But Canadians, they don't understand that. They have no clue. They cannot relate to real struggles around the rest of the world, like the rest of the world has. So, Truckers' Convoy comes up, and they dance, and they party, and they're turning it into some kind of joke. It didn't have to become a joke. So that's why the Canadian government gets away with putting that stick, you know where, and turning it. And all of you take it. You got to stop. The Canada that you all knew and loved, and I knew and loved when I was a kid, it's gone. It's gone forever. And the only way for you to survive is to accept that and change your mindset. You have to all get away from the idea that you're going to go to work and work a cushy full-time 9-to-5 job. Those days are done. And then you're going to come home and sit in front of the TV and do nothing. And everything's going to be okay. Those days are done. That was Archie Bunker's time. My father was Archie Bunker incarnate. Come home, watch TV, eat dinner, watch TV, fall asleep in front of TV, go to bed. The economy allowed for that kind of lifestyle before, which was an unusual time in human history. If you want the truth, that was a weird thing in our history as a species. Everybody was too comfortable. The problem is Canadians think that level of comfort is still around and that it's somehow their right. It's not. It's not a right. It's something you got to earn. So what I'm trying to say here, everyone, is that you got to fight. Yeah, you cannot accept the status quo. If someone tells you something and they say that they work for the government, why would you believe it to be true? Why is it that everybody out there is so willing to play ball and to fit in? Fitting in sucks. I had this conversation, actually. I'll let you in on a funny conversation I had yesterday with a really, really interesting American podcaster. So, the Canadian, one of the reasons I left Canada, one of the reasons, and this is the truth, and some of you are going to be insulted, and too bad. It's my show. My IQ has been measured at 142 and 158. It depends on who ran the test and which test it was. But whatever it is, I'm pretty sure we can all agree I've got a massive vocabulary, and each and every one of you have come to understand my intelligence is well above average. It is. It's just, that's my talent. I guess it's a gift from the gods, whatever you want to call it. And I've chosen to take that gift and continue to fill my head with as much information as possible because I really enjoy info and I like winning. Something I really like to do is win. You can't win if you don't know anything. So one of the biggest issues that I had in Canada is that nobody wanted to have intellectual conversations about finance, about commerce, about economics. They want to talk about stupid crap. Hey, man, did you hear like the Flames, man? They lost 2-1 to the Edmonton Oilers last night. Ref was an idiot, man. He called a penalty in the last 30 seconds. How many of you out there can name every single player on your favorite hockey team? Just for the record, that's not a good thing. Right? It's really not. I don't want to talk about hockey players. I don't care about the Canadian Football League. I don't care about the NFL. These are not things I waste my time concerning myself with. But this is what Canadians want to talk about on average. Now, Americans are the same way. They are. I don't want to talk about that stuff. I want to talk about ways to make money. I want to talk about ways to better myself. I just found out today, as an example, that the shoulder exercises that I've been doing are good. I got introduced to 3 better ones today. You're damn right I'm going to be doing them. Absolutely damn right. I want to bulge up my shoulders. Why? I'm a man. I should have big shoulders. It's all about improvement, everybody. And it seems that there's a stagnation within in the country where people are content to have just enough money to survive. Just enough. And then they wonder when something goes wrong why they can't pay their bills. And I tell you something. My net worth is now over $2 million. It's growing fast. And that's only in 18 months, by the way, since I left Canada. I love being wealthy. It's good. I'll tell you why it's good. Because I do live a humble life. I'm not out there spending all kinds of money on really stupid crap. But I can do what I want. I really can do what I want. Now, prime example, I decided to take a friend of mine out for his birthday. His whole family showed up. The bill showed up on the table. It was $340 US. I thought, you know what? This is a good guy. His family, they've invited me to their house and they've cooked meals for me, whatnot. I'm getting the whole tab. I don't even think about it. Now, when I was living in Canada, the Canadian government put a court order on me saying I couldn't even have a job. Imagine I was living on welfare. $970 a month is all that legally I was allowed to make. That sucked. It sucked. It's a horrible existence. Being broke sucks. Being wealthy is great. So I'm telling all of you in Canada, stop accepting the status quo. Stop listening to anybody in government. Stop listening to any of the mainstream media. And start working on you. Find different ways to bring income into your life, because being wealthy is awesome. I can tell you the truth though. If you keep paying tax, you'll never be wealthy. I have gone through taxes now on the better part of 1,000 different corporations in the last 2 years. And when I'm running the numbers on all of these companies, I run them well, with the exception of 2 that were run very poorly. They all would be wealthy companies if their tax bill was 0. Now, how do you do that? Well, you can listen to my advice. You can hire me to be your tax guy, or you could learn taxes like I did and do it yourself. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm the only one that can do taxes in the country. Seemingly, though, I'm the only one that does them correctly. You can do that. Or you can make a break for it and do what I did. I came to Panama. Let me tell you something about Panama. As a gringo, now, with my lovely, lovely white skin, there actually is white privilege here. There's none. It sucks to be white in Canada, but there's white privilege here. What do I mean by that? Panama, the people here love the idea of foreigners coming in and bringing money with them. Gringo have money. That's what they say. The cops protect gringos here. If you are a Panamanian and you even touch a gringo, the cops will work you over, man. They will pound you into the ground. And then you go bye-bye in a cage for 10 years. You don't mess with gringos here. Very safe country for everybody involved. Here's the cool part about it. I own 3 corporations here in Panama. And 2 of them, all the revenue comes from outside of Panama. Tax-free. There's no tax. I report every penny to the Panamanian government. Why wouldn't I? Because there's no tax on it. I'm not taxed on any money that I make outside of Panama. I pay tax on the money that I make inside of Panama. And you know, this country has been so good to me. I don't mind paying taxes here. I'll pay them. It's no problem. I told you I'm opening a restaurant next year. All right. I'm going to be paying at least $2 to $4 more per hour than the average restaurant does down here. So I get the best of the best. And I'll pay tax and I'll do it happily. So there's a lot of ways out there to get wealthy. If you want to stay in Canada, you can do it, but you got to stop paying tax. You've got to stop listening to the media. You have to stop believing what guys like this finance minister tell you about brand new laws coming in for taxes. I got to explain this to you, okay? For those who are wondering about new tax law, nobody knows how the system of creating laws actually works in Canada. Nobody. I'm going to explain it to you now. You have what would be called a private member's bill. So the CRA would have to come to the Minister of Finance, and then he would have to write a bill and use all the proper formatting and take it to the Liberal Party. And he'd have to do it at just the right time when Mark Carney's in a good mood and convince him to bring it forward to be voted on by the party. The party has to vote on that first. And let's just say the party says, okay, we're going to give the CRA new powers to bypass the Ontario and all the other provincial courts. Okay. That will then go to what's called the floor. You've seen in Parliament when those morons scream at each other. That's all theater. Everything's actually done in the hallway. The theater is them going, Mr. Speaker and the Prime Minister, and then they all go like this. And the backbenchers, they all slap like retards, like monkeys. Ooh, 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 ooh. That's Parliament to me. So it would have to go to Parliament for what's called a first reading. And then they would vote on that. And let's say, but most likely it'll get denied. But let's say it passed. And I'm just thinking, how would it pass when they've got a minority government? He doesn't even have the votes to get something passed. But let's just say it does. Okay? They got to refine it and revise it. And then the party kind of has to vote on it again before it goes up to the floor a second time. That's a year. That's already a year gone. You know that, right? Then it goes to a second reading, and then the ooh, 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 ooh starts all over again, and it goes in for another revision. And then a third reading, and that's going to be in year number 2, perhaps year number 3. And after that reading, same crap. Ooh, 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 and then from there, if it passes, it goes to the Canadian Senate, where those people are supposed to look at it and consider the constitutionality of what's being presented as what would be a new law. And if the Senate says this is not constitutional, what happens? Gone. So that 3 years of in the House of Commons, which is, oh God, man, it's a zoo is what it is. It's all for nothing if the Senate says no. They might revise it and try again, but the Senate is probably going to say no again. But let's say it does pass. We're coming into year number 4. Well, that's election year. They're not going to be trying to get laws passed when they're trying to win a campaign. Now, we know the Liberal Party cheats on every election. That we know for a fact, but it doesn't change the fact that it's still a lot of work to cheat on an election. So in year number 4, they're worried only about winning the election. So that bill that made it all that way is probably not even going to get looked at and go in for royal assent, which is supposed to be the King of England signing it. He doesn't sign it. It's the Governor General that does it. But if there's turmoil and chaos in the midst of an election year, it ain't getting signed. So for any new tax laws in Canada, everyone, 4 years, or as they say here in Panama, 4 años, all right, 4 years. Stop believing anything the media says. It's designed to make you afraid. If you stop paying all taxes in Canada, you can actually get really wealthy. I think the biggest problem here is when I do all the private consultations with people, I explain this to them. And sometimes I can see they don't get it. So I grab the camera off the laptop and I walk over to my whiteboard. I got a nice big whiteboard in the office and I draw it for them. And when they finally do understand it, they still can't get past their own fear. And that's the worst part, is just how ingrained the belief is that the CRA is something to consider being afraid of. They're losers, absolute losers. You've heard me on the phone with these people. You've heard me accusing an auditor for 22 straight minutes in one of my videos of him having herpes. I offered for him to come to my office and look at my books. And I have a cream for your herpes. I kept telling him this, and he kept saying, okay, 22 minutes. And he's angry with me. I called him afterwards. I think he caught on to the fact that I humiliated him completely and totally. But it doesn't change the fact that he's so angry with me. Guess what he did? He dropped the audit. It was on a corporation that I purchased. All right. I purchased the company. It had debt. He wanted to audit that. I said, no problem. Come on down. I mean, I wasn't going to really let him look at the books, but I said, yeah, come on down anyway. And you heard me messing with this guy. And all of you listen to it and you laugh and you tell me congratulations, but you're still afraid of them. Now, how can I be the only guy in the country not afraid of the CRA? Right? What is so special about me? Let me ask you this. Currently, I stand 5'6" at 54 years of age with a body fat percentage of 21. Gray hair, gray beard. All right? There's no brown left in any of my hair, not even my chest hair. All right? It's gray too. What is so special about me that the CRA, all 60,000 of them, are terrified of me, but 41 million Canadians are terrified of them? I have never pointed a gun at these people. I've never threatened them with weapons. I don't own any guns in Canada. I have a lot of guns here, but I own no guns in Canada. I own no weapons in Canada. I have no militia that I'm in charge of in Canada, and I've never gone to any of their homes. I know where some of them live, but I'm not going. I put liens on their homes instead. That's more fun. What threat could I possibly be that 60,000 people are terrified of me? And if a whole army of losers can be that upset about my existence, then why can't you do the same thing? Why are you afraid? I need you all to really think about this. Why are you afraid? I got one more slide to go here, and then I'm going to take questions. I can see there's a lot of questions popping up. So let me go to the last one here. In reference to our new Minister of Finance, François-Philippe Champagne, yeah, him, the guy who is probably going to be the next prime minister, by the way. So, not that I'm endorsing it. I'm just saying he will, because Canadians are dumb. Slide number 5, jobs and investment outflow. Canada just posted a 7.1 unemployment rate and a 43.7 billion of capital outflow, with factory sales sliding. Did you hear that? 7.1% unemployment. I think it's closer to 12, if you want the truth. That's just my opinion, of course. And $43.7 billion of capital has left the country. It's out. So at the same time, exports to our biggest trading partner are failing. Clear proof that jobs and money are leaving the country with no real growth plan in sight. Right, because Mark Carney said, elbows up, everybody. I want you to hate Donald Trump because I say so. And he won the election. And then he's put this psychopath in charge of finance of the country at the exact same time that he decides to go to war with Donald Trump. Something you're going to lose. Trump doesn't lose. He just doesn't lose. Not in this arena. I don't know, man. Just find myself wondering why anybody would want to go to war with the biggest nuclear power in the world. Why anybody would want to go to war with a country that could take you over in 5 minutes. How long do you think a war between Canada and the United States would last? If the Americans drove tanks over the border, how long would it last? 30 minutes. Tops. It would be tops. And they wouldn't even have to fire a single solitary shot. They would just drive their tanks in. You have 45 minutes. There you go, out of kindness. We got 45 minutes. So when you have nothing to offer and you have nothing to fight with, you have nothing to bargain with. And Canada right now has absolutely nothing to bargain with the United States. On a moment's notice, if Trump wants Alberta for oil, potash, and gems, and beef, and water, and everything, he'll get it. He'll get it. What's England going to do? Hey, wait a minute. We're going to send the army over and protect Alberta. What's India going to do, who's part of the Commonwealth? Oh, yes, hello, United States. We're going to send over the big boys and give it back. No. Australia and New Zealand, they're part of it. What are they going to do? Hey, good day, mate. Get back to you. So that's not going to happen. Period. We got to think about this. Who's coming to Canada's aid if the Americans decide to just take it? So why, Mark Carney, are you upsetting the sleeping giant? And I think about 50% of Albertans would go anyway. They'd love to. I'd love to. I'd love it if Alberta became an American protectorate. It'd be a wonderful thing. There'd be a lot more money floating around Alberta. I'll tell you that right now. All the jobs would be there. So, everyone, I want you to understand now, everything that this new Minister of Finance is doing is going to affect you. It is going to affect, no matter what you think, it's going to affect you. And like I said a bit earlier today, stop watching TV. Stop caring. Just don't care about the NHL or the CFL or the NFL or Major League Baseball. Why do you people care about this stuff? The Toronto Maple Leafs, if you're a Leaf fan, you're a moron. You know they're never going to win again. And let's just say they do. What happens to your life if the Maple Leafs win the Stanley Cup? Let me ask everybody in Toronto right now. The Toronto Raptors won the championship. What happened? 6 people got shot at the party, idiots, and no one made money except the Raptors. The Raptors made money. You didn't. So you're a loyal Raptors fan, clapping and cheering for a bunch of guys who hate you, couldn't care less about your existence. They win the championship. Yay. So another Toronto team pisses off the Americans. First the Blue Jays, now the Raptors. Yay. It didn't make you money. None of you made money with that. If the Leafs win the Stanley Cup, none of you are going to make money on that. It doesn't help you. So we got to get you all in Canada to start working on you. Forget the distractions. Get wealthy. I'm here to help. You want to be wealthy, you got to stop paying tax. It is that simple. And for those out there who want to bring up Robert Menard, that guy's a fruit. I've spoken to him on 3 separate occasions that I can remember, possibly more. The free man on the land movement's going to get you in a lot of trouble. Never mind walking into some judge's court. You don't have any authority because I'm a free man. That's stupid talk. We just play the game. We're playing the game in their arena. We're following their stupid little rules. In Canada, the taxation system is completely voluntary. Anything you put on a tax return is voluntary. You can voluntarily put anything down that you want. So why do you all voluntarily tell the truth to the CRA who lies to you on a daily basis? I'll tell you something about morals. It is not moral for you to be dead honest about your personal life when you're dealing with someone who lies to you. It doesn't make you a better person. It makes you stupid. You know why? Because you're going to be broke. That's how you get broke. That is what got me interested in tax law in the first place. My parents thought, just be honest. Everything will work out. Tell the truth to everybody. No matter who it is. Tell the truth. And the CRA took 1/3 of their wealth. And then they were stressed out and upset for 5 years about that. Took them 5 years to recover. You want to put your own life on hold for 5 years so you can have some kind of pious thought process in your head? I did the right thing. I told the truth. I got 4 years of prison for it. But I did the right thing. According to who? According to whose morality is telling the truth to the CRA going to benefit you? What points do you think you're going to get? I'm a cultural Christian. You know I'm Catholic. I was baptized in 1974. I went to Catholic school. I'm telling you Christians out there, you're not better than me because you tell the truth to the CRA and I lie to the CRA. I admit that I lied to the CRA. I tell the CRA when I'm talking to them on the phone, I just lied to you. I lied to them and then I tell them, yeah, I just lied to you. Nah, and I just lied about that. Uh-oh, I think I just lied again. Oh, now you don't know what to believe. You're not better than me because you tell the truth. You're stupid and you're broke. So I want all of you to comprehend that when your government is at war with you, which the Canadian government currently is, you're not going to benefit in any way from helping them to hurt you. You have the right to remain silent in Canada. That means shut up. Shut up. Stop talking about every facet of your personal lives. How many times I got to say this? On Facebook, don't have pictures of your kids there. Don't have pictures of your dog there. Don't tell people what your dog's name is. You know why? Because a lot of you use your dog's name as passwords for your social media. Yeah, you people do this stupid stuff. And someone's going to say, oh, look, he's got a dog named Rover and a cat named Sam. Rover Sam. Oh, look at that. I just got into his bank account. Yeah, you'd be amazed at how often this happens. Why would you want anybody in the world to know about your kids, by the way? Should you not be protecting your children by keeping them off of social media? You know that your enemies are always looking at social media, looking for some kind of way to harm you. And the Canadian government is your enemy. Canadian police are your enemy. The CRA is your enemy. They're always fishing for information. And if you don't believe me, I think what I need to do here is show you my CSIS file. I got to show you this. CSIS has a file on me like this. I have it with me here in Panama. I brought it with me because I know that people probably would not believe what I'm telling them, the stuff that's in it. And my CSIS file is great because they have indicated in there a lot of people that I hang around and a lot of political statements that I've made in the past. they got stupid crap in there like what grade school I went to and what church I was baptized in and what high school. That's public information. I've said what schools I've gone to. But then they've got other stuff in there like what sports I play. I've told everyone what sports I play. So they think that they're being hyper investigative. All they're doing is just reiterating what's on social media. It's not like CSIS really goes out of their way to do any research here. They're just reading what I'm saying on social media, and they're putting all of that pretty much verbatim into my file. So I'm telling you how it works. You have a file, and the more stuff you state on social media, the thicker that your file is going to get. So that's the takeaway here. You're not doing the right thing by telling the truth about you or your family to anybody. So shut up. There we go. I will now take questions. Here we go. Having a quick peek here. The CRA is coming after my son for CERB, CERB. That's the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit. Is there anything that we can do to not pay it? Yes. There's a series of 5 letters that I send out. It's mostly threats to the CRA, but we force them to prove that there's a debt in the first place, which they cannot do. They will never be able to do. We've always got them by about 6 weeks to drop the CERB file every single time because they're just telling everyone pay us back. And of course, everybody collapses and freezes and gets upset and ignores the problem. Don't ignore the problem. Yes, I can get rid of CERB. $950 for all the letters to go out the door. There's 5 over the course of 6 weeks. Okay, can I have my taxes stopped at the source with my employer? If your employer has balls and brains, which many don't, unfortunately, you could say that I want to go on contract. So you would register a numbered corporation, get a GST number, and state, yeah, I don't want to be on this payroll nonsense anymore. I want to be on contract. And your employer is going to say something stupid like, no, you can't because the CRA says. CRA says nothing of the kind. There is no law in Canada that says that you cannot work for a company full-time on the schedule they write for you and cut them invoices. The CRA says, no, it's the law. It's the law. You couldn't make your own hours, so we're going to put this on your personal. There's no law that says you can't do this. So that's why you don't cooperate with auditors, because the only way for them to ever determine that would be for you to answer questions. And what have I told you before when people ask you questions? What's the correct response? Go F-U-C-K yourself, right? We've covered this before. Doesn't matter who it is. Every single government employee who's picking on you and wants information, start practicing in the mirror. That's the answer. So at any rate, if your employer has any balls and brains, they'll do it. Most of them don't. Most employers are complete idiots. If you are somebody who puts a lot of people on payroll, employers, and you don't put them on contract when they choose to be on contract, you're a moron. You deserve to go broke. You're stupid. This is how it is. You're not a good businessman. A good businessman is always looking for a way to not abide by the rules, to not be complicit, to not be CRA compliant. Compliance makes you broke. Defiance makes you rich. Be defiant. MK, how much? 50K approx. What? Course, what? Oh, okay. I think what you're saying, MK, is you've got about $50,000 of debt that you want to sell to me. There's a minimum fee for us to do that at $10,000 Canadian. No tax on that, by the way. That's how much it would cost for us to completely take over your corporation and completely alleviate you of all of your corporate debt. Let's have a look at Instagram here. You can just give your employer any social insurance number. Sure, you could do that. Sometimes your employers, though, will research the number, sometimes, and they'll still deduct taxes from you. So you won't have the benefit of being able to get them back by adding medical expenses, legal expenses, caregiver expenses, part-time earning expenses, and so on. That's the only problem with that. It's better just to not be taxed in the first place, period. Let me check the Rumble room here. Holy crap, it's on fire tonight. Okay. says, hello, this is Irina from Toronto. All right. And she says, CRA registered 2 liens on my primary residence, 34,000 for HST and 25,000 for personal income tax. Okay. So Ria, what we do there is I redo your taxes for at least 5 years, kill that HST and GST debt, and then we do your taxes for the next tax year at a monumental loss, and all that stuff will go away. That's how we do it. And I'm pretty sure, Aria, that your accountant did not put down legal expenses, medical expenses, your caregiver expenses, your grooming expenses, your marketing expense, probably forgot everything. And legally, we can add everything. I think I've told you guys before that we have a model that works. That is one of our clients. And she got breast implants done, and we wrote everything off. Marketing, the flight to Panama to get the boobies done, the actual booby job, yeah, the hotel, the nurse, we got her a nurse for in-room care, all that, all written off as marketing. Why? Well, because with bigger things, more simps, and I hate simps, by the way, more simps will show up on her OnlyFans page and give her more money. So it's marketing. It's marketing. That's how it is. Everything's marketing. Everything is marketing. If you have some kind of public appearance anywhere, your suit is marketing. This is a $5 haircut here in Panama. But what I could do is I could bill myself $250,000 an hour for sitting in a barber chair. I can do that. It's completely legal for me to have a corporation where I overcharge myself for my own time. Did you know that? Huh? Did you know that you can bill yourself? Oh, yeah. People don't know this stuff. And accountants will say, but that's illegal. No, it's not illegal. It is completely legal for you to bill yourself. You can sue yourself. Did you know that? None of these things are illegal, everybody. It's all legal. You just got to have a little bit of balls. And I mean, not much, just a centimeter. That's it. If they're a centimeter wide, that's all you need in the way of balls to get this done. Stop fearing the unknown. Next. All right. So Irina, I got to talk with you, right? You got to get a hold of me on my website, please. She also says, for 2023, my accountant filed T1 general with $150,000 loss. CRA sent me an audit form. Okay. So what I would do is send the auditor off a no trespass notice and ban them from communicating with you forever, and to demand that they accept the tax return the way that it was done, or you'll sue them for tort fraud. And then we got to track them down with my private investigator, find out where they live, and sue them at home, put a lien on their property. That's how we do it, Rena. All right. I procrastinated with filling out the form. The CRA assessed my 2023 tax return for $15,000 taxable income. They calculated $13,000 of income tax. An assessment is a wild friggin' guess. It's just a wild guess. Did you object? You got to appeal that immediately. And then I redo your taxes and I crush that entire tax bill. It all goes away pretty damn fast. I just heard that Alberta won the first over 6 to separate. I don't know. Is it true? I don't know. Daniel Smith she's the right one to talk to Trump. She's the wrong one to form a militia and go to war with the Canadian government. I would. If I was the premier of Alberta, everybody, I would have already hired BlackRock to come in here and start assassinating government officials. I would have already done that. And then I would have said, help us, help us, help us. I would have declared war against the federal government and then surrendered. And that way you get international aid and then beg the Americans to take us. You could do that, Daniel Smith. There you go. That idea is for free. But you know what that takes? Balls. That's just the problem. Nobody has guts anymore, man. Or imagination. Nobody has imagination anymore. You notice that? You notice that everybody's boring? You ever notice that? Boring. Armas Dantes, if you got yourself a referral, then you got yourself a paycheck coming, pal. I still pay the best commissions on the planet. All right, questions here. Gello trades. Do the Canadian banks tell the CRA when large deposits hit someone's bank account? No, the banks don't. FinTrack does. It's not the banks that report that. Banks are private companies. FinTrack is the government agency. But they're going to start asking questions. Where'd the money come from? Oh, your mama. On Saturday night, she loves it. Your mama. The ruder and crasser you are with people who ask questions like that, the quicker they stop asking. I told you about this before. I cracked that joke when I was asked once what I'm doing with all the money I'm withdrawing. I just made this story up on the spot about me joining this weird sex cult. And we put 2-liter Coke bottles in our anuses, and I need to get the surgery done to fit the bottle. And she got mad. Don't talk to me like that. Well, then don't ask questions. If you don't want the answer, don't ask the question. Be crass, be vulgar. People who ask these questions are expecting you to be afraid of them. But when you are vulgar and crass, and you got that big smile on your face, hey, listen, you're not going to believe this, but this German Shepherd, and there's peanut butter involved. Yeah, like make stuff up and then tell a really gross, like exciting ending to the story and just smile and say, oh, I filmed it. You want to see? You'll be amazed at how often people just give up talking to you. Like my mother told me when I was in grade 6, I could irritate Jesus. I said, oh, thank you. My father smacked me in the back of the head for that because he said, that's not a compliment. It is. It very much is. Be as irritating as Kevin J. Johnston, all right? Be as irritating as this creature on your screen right now. People don't want to be irritated. When they think that they've got authority, take it away by being rude and crass and vulgar. There is no advantage to being nice to these people anymore. I am polite only until it is time not to be polite. And the second people begin asking personal questions, I go straight to the anger face and I go straight to the belittling behavior. I will belittle them in every way. Motorsport or motor expert. If a company's changed its director, is the old director responsible for the previous years after the company's transition to a new director? Only after 2 years? No. But why wait? Just sell me the company. I become the director. The company's sold to me in a share sale and you're off the hook. What's the CRA going to do? Chase me? It's not going to happen. Do I have to pay capital gains on bullion and gold bars? Mojo, you better keep your damn mouth shut about those things, all right? If you got gold and silver, shut up. Stop talking. Who would know that you sold them? That's my question to you. If you've got gold, silver, you got copper, you've got 2,000 pounds of platinum because you like to steal catalytic converters, if you have any of this stuff and you sell it, who do you think is going to know about it? And why would you ever want to talk to anybody about this? This is not the kind of thing where you should be showing off. Hey, guys, you're not going to believe this. I just sold 19 pounds of gold. Your friends are going to be jealous. They're not going to be congratulating you. Where'd you get 19 pounds of gold? Oh, yeah? I had no idea you had so much money. You selling drugs? Huh? Then they go home to their wives. You know that John, 19 pounds of gold? Yeah. Now the rumors start. It's a crazy world, guys. Shh about your gold. And if you're selling it, shh about that. No, you don't have to pay capital gains. Capital gains is line 12,700 on the tax return. If you fill that out, there's between 2 and 5 more forms that I know of that you may possibly have to fill out as well. And nobody's paying you for your time to do it. And that's the part that sucks about being involved with the government is I'm not getting paid for that time. But they tell me it's my civic duty. No, it's not at all. I didn't sign up for that. I'm not going to be a part of your game. I will not help anybody investigate me. I'm not going to help you hurt me, period. More questions. Okay. How does the dude, good name, how does one prepare for when the accounts are seized? Should we have multiple corporate? Yes, you should have multiple corporations set up. None of you should own anything in your own name. Numbered corporations. Why numbered? Because 1648949385004 Ontario Inc. is easy to get lost in the shuffle. And if you just do a tax return for those ones that says null, NULL. It's a holding company. There's no tax bill. They don't care about it. So you put all your money there. If every single Canadian put all of their personal earnings and their homes into numbered corporations, you could all just stop doing tax returns and there would be nothing they could do about it. Nothing. It's the same thing I tell the CRA all the time. I'm Kevin J. Johnston, middle-aged guy, standing 5'6". And you're terrified of me. And I'm not going to pay any tax. And I've taken more than $200 million away from you so far. And my goal is to take $1 billion next year. In 2026, I'm going to take $1 billion away from the CRA. What are you going to do about it? Huh? What are you going to do about it? The same thing they've been doing for the last 2 years. Nothing. Nothing. You're going to do nothing. You got nothing. All right. I'm saying this. And some of you are saying, well, you can't say this stuff when you're in Canada. Well, I could, but you know what they would do. The cops would knock on my door and remind me that I'm being too rude on social media. I don't want to live in that communist dump. Why would I want to do that? You guys remember when my podcast had over 360,000 viewers a day, 5 days a week? That between 1 and 5 days a week, the cops would show up at my front door. Ding dong. Mr. Johnston, you've been doing it again. You're upsetting the mayor. You got to kind of tone it down. Yeah, cops coming to my door telling me that I got to tone it down on a podcast where I don't swear. What the hell? No, thanks. I'm fine where I am, everybody. And besides, and here's the truth. I do not have to put up with Antifa anymore. I do not have to put up with Black Lives Matter anymore. I do not have to put up with the CBC or CTV or any of that left-wing crap on the airwaves. I don't have to look at billboards telling me that I'm a terrible person because I'm white. That's exactly what Canada does. I don't want to hear anything more about this Indigenous stuff. I don't want to hear anything else about some conquered land nonsense. You know what I want to do? I want to make money. I don't care about people's personal politics. I certainly do not care about any particular human being's feelings. I don't have the luxury of caring about my own feelings. I'm certainly not going to put any energy into caring about yours. And when you live in Canada, all those things get inside your head and they do stop you from producing, whether you think so or not. Your environment can crush you. And being in that communist dump of Canada, it was crushing me. You can't think when everybody around you is either not thinking or thinking about the wrong things. We just talked about this, the hockey game. They care about this. Or did you hear about the celebrity who's sleeping with the other celebrity? They care about this stuff. Not interested, guys. None of that makes money. Canola Girl, we found out the CRA had not issued a letter of objection Wednesday. CRA mailed postal. Yeah, okay, so the CRA is dealing with a postal strike like the rest of us are. So there's going to be a very big delay on everything that they're sending out to us. There's nothing I could do about that. Whenever I'm sending stuff into the CRA, it's through private couriers, all of it. Okay, Adam on YouTube's been really busy tonight. Okay, Adam, these are cool messages, but there's a lot of them, so I don't have time to read them. Okay. Someone's calling me. Hey guys, guess what? According to somebody on YouTube, I'm retarded. Did you hear that? Yeah. So those aren't questions. Let's move on. Oh, also somebody on Twitch told me that they don't like my hair. I don't know. Do you like my hair? It's a $5 haircut. You tell me. Dig Haith says, I was told it was a deposit of $10,000 to have you buy the debt. Yeah, so Dig Haith, what's going on here? Here's how we do it, everyone. If you've got a corporation that's loaded with debt, I'm buying it. I buy it for $1. It's a $1 deal. With that, you're selling me all of your assets and you're selling me all of your debt, all of your liability, all your lawsuits that are against you, all your judgments that you lost in court, municipal, provincial, and federal fines, bank loans in the company name, corporate credit cards, GST debt, HST debt, PST debt, all your debts, income tax, payroll, all of it. All of that becomes my responsibility. And then what you do is you buy back all your assets from me for 10% of the value of your debt. It's that simple. It's 2 deals in one. I buy everything, you buy back your stuff. I don't want your stuff, guys. I don't want anybody's stuff. I spent 4 months selling all my stuff before I left Canada. I don't want stuff anymore. Stuff doesn't make me happy. It collects dust and gets in my way. Not interested. I want the money. And we've had some people call us saying, oh, I've got $190,000 of debt. I'll sell it to you for 50 grand. Like, people literally do call me and say this stuff to me. I want $25,000 for my debt. Who the hell do you think you are talking to me like that? Do you just not understand that you are already in debt? That means you are a crappy businessman, or you've had a lot of bad luck, or a combination of the above, or you trusted the wrong people or they stole from you, and you want me to give you 50 grand for your debt? Like, come on. How would I make money? If any of you out there thought that I'm going to give you $1 million for your debt, how many checks would I write before I'm completely flat broke? That's the mindset that we're talking about here. Nobody thinks like a businessman. You've got to think like a businessman. How do I get the stock in the door? How do I sell the stock? How do I collect the money? How do I not get the money stolen? How do I get it deposited? How do I not pay tax on this? These are all the things you got to think about. If I'm going to burn up someone else's time, how much is their time worth? I'm going to pay them for their time. What am I going to get for the payment? Is it even worth it to hire the individual person I'm talking to right now? You got to think about all this stuff. There's a guy on Instagram. I'm not going to give you his name yet because we haven't made our deal yet, but he charges $300 for a 1-hour consultation. I paid the $300. I had a 1-hour consultation with him. It was fantastic. It was a great conversation. It was worth every penny. Will I make money on it? Yes, I will. I had a feeling I would make money on that. So that $300 investment is most likely going to become a $30,000 to $40,000 business deal for myself in the future. I think like a businessman. So if you're going to be upset with the fact that I make money, well, that's on you. That's got nothing to do with me. Kevin O'Leary, watch him on Dragon's Den. What does he always say? I just want to make money. It's true. He doesn't care a crap about any human being whatsoever. None. He just wants to make money. Good for him. He wants to make money. He makes money. It doesn't bother me that he makes money. He works for it. He's figured it out. Not only has he figured out the system, but he's using his knowledge to his own advantage to make money. And he hires a lot of people. He pays a lot of people a lot of money to do a lot of stuff for him. So good for Kevin O'Leary. I have 7 full-time people and I've got 3 part-timers. So there are 10 people aside from me that make money as a result of what I'm doing here. And then there are hundreds of Canadians, and there will be eventually tens of thousands who no longer pay tax because of me. So should I not get paid for that? If you come to my house and build a brand new fence and it's perfectly straight and symmetrical and it's beautiful and it increases my property value by 10%, should you not get paid for that? I think you should. Plumber comes over and cleans the dead cat out of my toilet. He should get paid for that. I really think so. The cop that, I don't know, shoots my dog should not be paid anything. But that's another story altogether. Having a look at some more of your questions here. How do you sell physical gold? There are private buyers out there, but you'll take a hit of about 20%. There are retailers who will buy it from you, but you'll take a hit of about 20 to 30% on that. In many cases, I don't recommend selling gold. If you've got 99.9% pure, hang on to it. Hang on to it. Why is everyone in such a rush to sell this stuff? Canadian money is worth nothing. You know, I'm looking to take my money and turn it into property that makes money. I'm buying condos now, and I am buying gold, and I am buying silver, and eventually I'm going to be buying a lot of gems too, right? Because I'm learning the gem market now. I'm constant self-improvement. And when I start to really figure that out, then I'm going to know how to bring them in and make money with them. But hard assets, I want lots of that stuff. Cars are not assets. They're not. Golf clubs are not assets. Hockey equipment, not an asset. There's just liabilities, just stuff that could get stolen one day. A condominium in the right country is an asset. A house, land, absolutely assets. Gold and silver bullion, asset. Canadian cash, garbage. It's junk. You can't even exchange it. If you bring Canadian money with you to Panama or to El Salvador or Nicaragua, you can't even exchange it at the banks. Costa Rica still does, but you lose about 30% of it. It's pointless. There we go. Here's a good question from Crom 1960. What's your stance on paying capital gains when you sell investment property in Canada? Shut up about it. Shut up. Quiet. Stop talking about it. Take the money and run. It's your money. You bought the house. You got the mortgage. You maintained it. You had to put up with, probably in Canada, god-awful tenants. That's all your blood, sweat, and tears. Keep the money. Be silent about your properties. My landlord doesn't want to include the rent I pay him. Can I write it off if he doesn't? Well, rent is no longer something that the CRA considers. So what you could do instead is the rent tab that you're paying, put that on your medical expense ledger instead, or your legal expense ledger instead. Done. Don't waste your time trying to figure things out with landlords. Most of them are idiots. I'm a buyer. I've been a renter. I hate renting. I can't stand the idea of having a landlord, and I hate the idea of anybody lording over me in any particular way. Like having an employer. How many people have you had out there have had employers that always catch you when you're doing something like this, tying your shoe, or just stretching because your feeling's a little bit off, and they ask, "Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing, Kevin?" I got this a lot. "What are you doing, Kevin?" "I'm changing the radio station." "What are you doing, Kevin?" "Oh, I'm going to stretch my legs and my back a little bit. I'm feeling a bit sore because this chair sucks." "What are you doing?" You got employers like that. I despise it. I don't want to deal with any of that nonsense. "What are you doing, Kevin?" Jesus, man. And I'm sure all of you have gone through the same thing. And it sucks, doesn't it? How do you transfer property to a corporation if there's a credit line and a CRA lien? The CRA lien we get rid of by redoing your taxes and getting rid of your entire tax bill. That one goes away. Once that's done, transferring the property is no problem at all. We just got to get those taxes done fast. Oh, hey. It's a good-looking chick, too. She says she likes my haircut. Sweet. I'm wealthy, sweetheart. Right. How many minutes remaining in the show? 27. 27 minutes remaining tonight, folks. What's the best option for a bank debit of $250K? Could you rephrase the question, please? I'm not quite catching it. Please confirm you received the test payment of Bitcoin. Okay. I can't do that until I end this transmission because I very foolishly put crypto.com on the same phone as what I'm broadcasting on now. And the only reason is that I'm still looking for a good supplier of Galaxy Note 8 and Galaxy Note 9 phones. I cannot stand the modern phones. I love the old ones for one reason, is because the 3.5 millimeter jack. So if any of you out there have used Samsung Galaxy Note 8s and 9s for sale, I want them so I can separate. I want to have one app per phone. That's the way I'd rather do it. Oh, someone says, don't listen to this guy. Okay, don't listen to that guy. All righty. Sparkly Mind. Debt, $22,000, salary, $5K, monthly, expenses, $3K, still can't save a penny. What do you suggest? Get your taxes done, and we got to put every single expense on your tax returns. That would bring your tax bill to zero. That's what we need to do. There's so many things that we can add. There's 110, 105 things we can add to a personal tax return to absolutely crush your tax debt. That's what we do. If you're not paying tax, You'll save money. Remjiro says, Mario for the North says you're a liar and a fraud. You should educate him. Invite him for a chat. You think that coward is going to come on my show? He reads scripts, just so you know. I found his house, by the way. I'm not going to publish the address unless I have to, but we tracked him down. It didn't take long. It didn't take long at all. I sent him a very simple cease and desist letter, and he stopped talking about me. He should have maybe read my letter. If he wanted to prove he was tough, he should have taken my cease and desist letter and read it to his audience and then mocked me publicly. That's what he should have done. But whatever. Mario for the North showed up 2 years ago. He's paid by the PC party to promote Pierre Poilievre. Listen to all the ass kissing he does. Pierre Poilievre was great because I don't care about that Mario for the North guy on Instagram. I'm letting you know, he can call me whatever he wants, but I did tell him to cease and desist, and I gave him a very set few phrases he cannot say anymore. If he does, I know where he lives. I'm not going to go to his house and hit him. I'm going to put a lien on his property. There you go. And then we'll see which one of us is wrong. Alrighty. Nate, what's the worst that can happen if you have a lot of assets you didn't claim and get audited? If you get audited, you call me, I get rid of the audit. You do not have to cooperate with an audit. Auditors are not cops. They're losers. Losers with a capital L. Actually, every letter is capitalized in the word loser when dealing with the CRA. I issue no trespassing notices. We ban them from the property. That's it. You ban them from your entire lives. And then we ban the entire auditing department. You guys have seen the letters I write to the CRA where I call them all kinds of names. I put fallacies on these letters. These are losers. You never cooperate with them. Auditor comes to your front door. They hand you a card saying they've got the right to look through your house. Would you open the door for someone that says, I've got the right to come in your house? I know that TV sucks, but the one thing that TV gets right, you got a warrant. Not without a warrant. You're not coming in this house without a warrant. Go get a warrant. And it better be a FEME warrant. And you better be listing exactly what you want to see. And you better know that it's here before you even get that warrant written. Otherwise, no. Get a warrant. Someone shows up at your front door. I work for the government. Let me in. And you let them in? My God, man. If you've got a Rottweiler, just say sick them. That's what you do. Okay. Here we go. Here's a good question. What's your opinion on bankrupting an in-debt corporation or selling the corp to you? All right. We've had a few clients that have come to us because they've tried to bankrupt their corporations in Canada. And it never works. And it never works because, honestly speaking, in Canada, a corporate bankruptcy is a myth. If it's a personal bankruptcy and it's your first one, smooth. Every debt you have goes away. But if it's a corporate bankruptcy, every single creditor is allowed to object. Every single one. And the minimum charge to get a loser lawyer, because you have to have a lawyer for bankruptcies in Canada, stupid rule, but it's there, $75,000 right off the hop. We had a client in British Columbia. He owed about 150 grand in payroll. His lawyer took the payroll debt, put it on him personally, and then bankrupted the company. Well, what was the point of going bankrupt if his own lawyer put payroll debt on his personal tax? So I had to fix all those taxes. This is what they do. So by all means, if you think you're going to find a lawyer who's not a coward in Canada, go for it. You sell me the corporation, it's a lot less than a lawyer, and it's over within 10 days. It's done. It's finished. Not 5 years like corporate bankruptcies in Canada. 10 days. You get to walk away from all your debt. How do you not pay tax on a stock withdrawal? You'll pay tax right away if you're dealing with one of those loser companies in Canada, like the banks. But if we put down all your legal expenses and all of your medical expenses and all of your T2125 form expenses in the following tax year, I'll get you all that money back. Every single penny. I'm selling my business to my daughter. What's the best option? Ooh, Okay, I would need a lot more details on that. You got to make sure that there's no debt in the corporation before you sell it to her. A lot of people make this mistake, and that's a very good question, by the way. I'm not mocking you. It's a good question, because now I'm going to point out the mistakes that people make in selling corporations to family. When you have a corporation, there's a pretty good chance there's going to be some debt somewhere. There's very few people out there that can run a corporation and not carry some kind of debt. So if you sell the whole corp, all the debt, if it's a share sale, becomes her liability, her responsibility. She gets the assets, she gets the business, but she gets the debt. Here's what we do. We broker it as a third party. I buy the corporation from you. I take all of the debt away, and I sell her the assets into her brand new corporation, which has no debt because it's brand new. And she gets to start over with your trademark, your name, your client list, website, social media, and all the assets. Everything goes straight to her. I get the debt, she gets the goods, she makes the money. And if I'm doing her invoicing and her payroll for her, she'll never pay a penny of tax the whole time she runs that company. Our new AI system, everyone, it will launch January 1st, like I told you. And the beta testing is working so well. All the tax returns we're putting through it, can't tell you what they're doing, but I can tell you they're very, very favorable in favor of the client. We have some of our clients who have volunteered to be guinea pigs for it. It's working very well. So do that. How do you transfer a CEBA loan with an RBC on a business corporation accent? If you're not the personal guarantor on the loan, you can sell me the corporation and the loan comes with it. It becomes my responsibility, and the RBC branch can chase me, which of course will go nowhere. If you signed for it personally, there's a 50-50 chance that they'll let me have it. If they don't let me have it, well, you're kind of SOL, but skip 10 payments and then negotiate a better rate. Sorry, everyone, I'm out of water. All right, here we go. Filtered, of course, because someone told me it was a good idea. Someone I like and trust, and I don't notice a difference. So, sorry, Susan. I think you're full of it. Anyway, thank you for the filter, though. It's nice. Looks good. All right, next. I'm just looking at more of your questions here, everybody. Let's have a look here. After our consultation in the middle of August, we didn't have a lot of time. Sorry, Canola Girl, I'm not understanding. What are you talking about, 90 days? Could you clarify that, please? Or Randy is in the back room right now answering emails that people are sending in. Oh, by the way, we have 2 spaces left for tomorrow night. Today is the 30th of September, 2025. Tomorrow, October the 1st at 8 p.m. Eastern time is a private consultation. I'm going to give a 45-minute lecture on tax, and then everybody who's in the room gets to ask a very serious question. It's not for public consumption. It will never be released to the public. It is a private meeting for 30 people only. And there's 2 spots left. So if anybody wants to be in on tomorrow night's private consultation, head over to the website right now and grab your spot. Just so everyone also knows, everything in October, all the consultations are completely purchased. But my understanding is this, that there are now 130-minute consultations available in November. Isn't that cool? I'm not in charge of my own website anymore. I let Randy do that. And Randy made a phone call saying, you're going to be busy in November. Okay, cool. Thank you. So you want some consults? There are now consults available. And hello, Sandra. Appreciate you being here. Checking more of your questions there, everybody. Oh, someone's telling me the Australian dollar is worse than the Canadian dollar. Yeah. The biggest issue with Australia is just its proximity to the rest of the world. It's geographic placement. That's all. It's difficult to do business in Asia because it's like a 12 to 15-hour flight from Sydney to Hong Kong. And that's a problem considering that it's also a 15-hour flight from Toronto to Hong Kong. So Australia is, they're in trouble. Bad governance, left-wing nuts are in charge of everything. That COVID nonsense really hurt the country badly. The Aussie dollar is not doing very well. How much the consultations? Tomorrow night is $250. There's no tax on that. And the 30-minute consultations are $650, and there is no tax on those. So go ahead and grab your consultations now, everybody, at kevinjjohnston.com. That's my website, kevinjjohnston.com. Sold by Paul. Sorry, you said lawyers withhold it. Paul, could you clarify what you're referring to, please? I appreciate that. Oh, here we go. Sold by Paul. How can you not pay capital gains if the lawyers withhold it on closing? Because you only need the lawyer to do the land transfer. They do not have to hold the money. We have a company where we hold the money. It's true. You're allowed to have a private company hold the money. So we've been doing this for our clients now where the money comes to us. And we only pay the mortgage. I don't pay capital gains. I do not pay any creditors. I don't pay any liens on the property. I pay nothing. Nothing. What are they going to do? What are they going to do about it? Huh? They could sue me if they want. I'll file a defense and I'll waste their time. They'll blow a fortune. We go to court and I'll say, yeah, we gave the money away. Now what? All right. So, Paul, you got to become, you either let me be your trustee or you become your own trustee. Completely legal. Lawyers do not have to hold money. In fact, each and every one of you out there who believes that putting money into a lawyer's trust account is a good idea, you're out of your friggin' mind. Lawyers are scumbags. They're all going broke. ChatGPT, Perplexity, DeepSeek, all of these AI programs are better at writing contracts and agreements than lawyers are. So they're going broke, man. They're stealing money. Paul, use me. I got a trust company in Ontario. Use me, and you'll make a lot of money. Don't lawyers withhold capital gains in the sale of investment properties? If you're stupid enough to use a lawyer, yes. If you're smart, no. What can I do, the CRA, if they audited you and you have a lot of unclaimed assets? I don't know what you mean by unclaimed assets. I need clarification on that, please. Is Panama safe for single women? Yes. There's one neighborhood that is not. It's called San Miguelito. I don't even go there at night. I can fight. I don't go to San Miguelito at night because the gangs are still angry with each other. I'm not afraid of them attacking me. I'm afraid of getting caught up in the crossfire. I'm not saying there's guns every night. I'm just saying that, like every country and every city, there are places I don't go. I, in Toronto, did not spend any time at Jane and Finch, period. I would drive past it and keep right on going. When I was in New York, 1996, holy shit, Yonkers and Kings and Queens, I did not go to those areas. They were ridiculously dangerous. You just have to know the city. And a guy like myself could certainly guide you through that. But yes, it's safe here. And there's a lot of single, wealthy, horny guys that are almost as good looking as I am here. Lots. I know this because I play paddle, which is like tennis with a cage around it. I play that with a lot of millionaires down here, a lot of single millionaires down here who just got fed up with the taxation system. So they're here in Panama now. So yeah, ladies, if you want to marry a gringo who's got dough, they're in Panama. Is there a PDF booklet you have to set things up properly since you're so busy? Dude, good idea. Excellent idea. Not yet. It's a matter of I need time to write it. Or I got to hire a ghostwriter and dictate everything. The big problem here is all the ghostwriters out there are clowns. I've tried to hire ghostwriters on 4 separate occasions. They're all clowns. I don't know. They don't do anything. I think they just run it through ChatGPT. I could do that. The idea of hiring a ghostwriter is they actually scrutinize every single sentence and don't just give me AI crap. I mean, AI will eventually be dynamite. It's cool now, but it's not good enough for me to trust it to write a book for me. How many dollars to get rid of an auditor? It's on my website. I think it's 2,500 Canadian. And the auditor goes, well, yeah, that's right. It is 2,500 bucks. We write all the legal letters. I make the appropriate phone call to the auditor, and that would include us sending a letter to the auditor's house if we need to. All that's included in that. All right, for those of you out there where the CRA has frozen your bank account and took your funds in the bank, remember, it's not the CRA that takes the funds. It's the banks that willingly give it to them. That's the problem. Your enemy is the bank. What we got to do is we have to redo your taxes and bring your tax bill to a negative, and then you get your money back. That's it. Everybody should have taxes in the negative. You'll all have no problems in life if your taxes are negative. I told you, if you want to legally have something to write off, open a corporation and bill yourself. It is that easy. Nick, if a person was to buy land that has a lien against it from an oil spill of 45 liters of furnace oil, I can get it cheap, but the lien is around 50 grand. What would you suggest? Oh boy. How many acres? You said, okay. So I think what you're referring to is the weird law that popped up about fuel and oil tanks and whatnot leaking, where you've got to dig the soil up and have it incinerated. I think that's what you're talking about. So it wouldn't be a lien, it'd be more of a writ, but I would need to see the actual document that you're referring to. Is that possible? Would I do your personal taxes? It's your favorite mom. Well, yes, but I think I don't think, when the AI system is active, you'll be able to actually do your own for about 1/3 the price. And it'll do the same job I would, but better. If you're cool hanging on just a little while longer, it's going to be on my website. I'll make a big announcement. You'll probably see me wearing a party hat. It won't be a dunce cap. It'll be a party hat, blowing horns and saying, it's open, it's ready to go. So, but yes, the answer is yes, we do personal taxes. Owl House. Is it a smart thing to leave the business listed on the MLS or somewhere publicly before you buy it? That's one of those tricks that you would pull if you were bringing in or buying a company or selling a company that had a lot of illegal aliens working there, because you have to list it open to the public to make the statement that nobody in the public wanted the job, nobody in the public wanted the company, so you can sell to a foreign interest and hire foreign workers. Beyond that, I can't imagine that there's any advantage at all to listing a business for sale if there's some kind of trickery that you're counting on. You'd have to tell me what you're thinking there, if you don't mind. Best way for me to move my property so my kids can take over is the umbrella. Yeah. All right. We've covered all this before. Let's cover it again because it's a good question. House here. Numbered corporation here. Numbered corporation owns house here. Numbered corporation here has all the bylaws that state who gets the house when you die. This numbered corporation's bylaws will absolutely circumvent and outdo your will. Then let's say you had another house, another corporation, another house. Umbrella corporation up here owns both corporations. If you get to like 3 or 4 or 5 houses, then the umbrella corp goes into a family trust. You don't do the trust until you have multiple properties. But every house that you have, every piece of property you have needs to be in a numbered corporation. And there are so many dumbasses out there that'll say, but when you sell it, you got to pay capital gains. You don't have to do a goddamn thing. No, you don't. What you do is sell the corporation and the house goes with it. And if the person you're selling it to is dumb and says, well, I want it in my name, sell it to them. And then just dissolve the corporation. Don't waste your time even doing taxes for that particular tax year. Dissolve it. Walk away. My God, you don't have to do anything. This whole, when adults say, I had no choice. Sure you do. Everyone does. It may not be a favorable outcome when you make a decision, but you can still decide not to do something that you're told to do. That's that. You got to be brave enough to weather the storm. And with the CRA these days, there's no storm if you do if you don't do a tax return. There's a storm when you actually do the tax return and tell the truth. That's dumb. Nick, environmental and municipalities put a lien on it, but maybe there's a misunderstanding. There might be. You got to get me that document. I really can't answer that because oil spills are not something I've got a lot of experience with. If I can see the legal document, that I have a ton of experience with. Oh, Chamber of Knowledge. What did I say that was in beta? My AI tax system, where Canadians are going to be able to just go to my website, put their numbers in, and the tax return gets spit out. You're going to have two options. Imagine these two mice are buttons. Imagine this one's red. Imagine this one's green. Do you want to pay tax? Green, yes. Red, no. Which one? Which one? You decide, and the software does the rest. Yeehaw. All right, next question. Hey, Kent, good to see you, brother. Thanks for being here. All right. If anybody is using my website contact form right now, yes, somebody is definitely going to get back to you. Let me check the Rumble room because we are signing off on Rumble in just a couple of minutes here. All right. So Fit Chick, can you sell furniture or bolts of expensive fabrics for decor to your home office business, then turn around and have huge expenses? Yeah. Yeah. You could open up another corporation and just expense yourself to no end. Absolutely. You can open up another corporation, everybody, and sue yourself, and then capitulate to the corporation that you've registered, and then use your own corporation to put a lien against your own house and a writ of execution against you. You can sue yourself. You can bill yourself. You can charge yourself any amount of money you want. It's just numbers on paper, people. It's arbitrary nonsense. Yeah. In the grand scale of life, we got to be a bit more philosophical. Every single thing that human beings do is arbitrary. The planet doesn't even care that we're here. One day our species won't be here. That's how arbitrary we are. And no one's going to care. The universe is not going to miss us. It's just paper. We can do what we want. Political Dove. I'm a licensed realtor and I want to stop using my PREC and open up a numbered corp. Stop using PRECs, personal real estate corporations. Those things are a scam and a con. They are not the law. The RECO, the Real Estate Commission of Ontario, they've lied to you. They are not government. They are a private company. So when you're licensed by RECO, it's not a license. It's a membership. Yeah, you know what it's like? It's like the Mickey Mouse Club. Remember that in the 60s where you'd give them $1 and you got Mickey Mouse ears and a card, little name badge that said Mickey Mouse Club. My name is Stevie. That's all it is. It's the same thing minus the cool hat. So yeah, get rid of your PREC. I buy PRECs, everybody. I take your PREC debt away from you and we get you into a brand new numbered corporation. Abelair says, if I do not file my initial return for a new corporation and conduct business, what are the negative implications? If you keep your mouth shut, nothing. If you shut up, nothing. You are not obligated to do the first tax return. There is no obligation that any corporation has to do a tax return in the first place, period. Clause 150 of the Income Tax Act says you shall do a tax return. That is not criminal law. That is civil law. Don't do it. You don't have to. No ramifications unless you phone the CRA. Hi, CRA. I opened a company up. We're making money, and I want you to tax me. Now you're in trouble. If you're silent, everything's cool. Marceledrum. My dad just passed away. My mother has a little bit of debt and wants to declare personal bankruptcy. Should she do it that way? No. Let's redo all of her taxes. And if your dad's passed away, we redo his taxes going back 10 years. We keep the estate open long enough to get his taxes done, get back as much money as we possibly can for the family. It's better in your hands than in the CRA hands. All right. Holy smoke. There's a lot of questions here tonight. Oh boy. My website address, my name, Kevin, middle initial J, last name, Johnston, Johnston, Johnston.com. Head over there. Randy is standing by to answer all of your questions. Holy free holies, everybody. Another evening has come to an end. Wow, 2 hours just flew by. Last question here. Tony Terrace says, my new bookkeeper could put my shareholder loan at $260K this year. Are you able to give me some advice? Yeah, shareholder loans are dumb. You know what's even dumber? Doing tax returns. A lot of accountants and bookkeepers will say, do a shareholder's loan. It doesn't help you. How about this? Just open up another corporation and write yourself an invoice for $500,000 of marketing expenses and write that off. It's that simple. What shareholder loans and dividends and all these stupid ideas, they're stupid because you got to pay tax on them. Your bookkeeper's an idiot. I hope that she's not married to you or he's not married to you because you're not going to sleep well tonight. It's that simple. Sold by Paul. What would you deposit the commission check that is paid to your personal name or new numbered company? Always numbered company. Unless, of course, you registered your name as a trademark, in which case you would then go ahead and have the check written there. And Tony says, I'm currently on Caquila. I might lose service. I assume you're in the middle of nowhere. That's probably what you mean. Everybody who wants my email address, just go to my website, kevinjjohnston.com. Use the contact form. Operators are standing by. All right, everyone. We are at the end of yet another Tax and Money show. Holy smoke, it went fast. And thank you all for being here tonight. Hopefully you've learned something about this new finance minister Canada has. And hopefully all of you are going to take my advice to stop paying tax. Stop snitching on yourself. Stop talking to the government. Stop doing these stupid tax returns that are crushing you. Stop divulging personal information on social media. Stop bragging about your small victories. Stop watching the Leafs and the Flames and the Canucks. Those idiots are not going to make you money. Focus on you. Go to the gym, get stronger, read really good books written before the left-wing nuts existed. Right? Just fill your head with knowledge. Make your body fit. Spend more time with your family and your loved ones. Stop being distracted. Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus, that crap is not going to make you a penny. Leave that alone and get rich. My name is Kevin J. Johnston. This is the Tax and Money Show that is live every single Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time right here on freedomreport.ca. Good night.